I'm on the phone with Mark Shields, the head football coach of the MDI Trojans, the #1 seed MDI Trojans. Coach, congratulations. The road to Orono goes through Bar Harbor.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Happy with the victory over a very good Nokomis team. Super physical group. We knew that they were going to be a tough opponent, and they surely were. I know you look at the score and say we must have taken care of them handily, but I don't know. It didn't really feel like that as the game was going along. We were able to get out with 2 quick scores early, which really did help us. But once they got it rolling offensively, they were tough to stop. We knew that they had some good backs and a really good quarterback. I was really impressed with him, and some good receivers, and they did a nice job throwing the ball and moving the chains and eventually start putting some points on the board. And fortunately, we were able to respond in the second half and kind of put the game away. But it didn't feel like we'd put the game away till pretty late in the game. And so hats off to them. They played hard, and they gave us a tough game. And I think our guys, they felt it. I saw a lot of our guys on Saturday, and we were pretty beat up. So, we knew that they were going to be physical, and they were.
Well, absolutely. I mean, and, at one point, Colby was out of the game, but you had to put him into the third quarter, and he busted out a 35, 40-yard run, and that really made a huge difference in the tenor and the way the game was going.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, it was 3rd and long, and if we hadn't gotten that first down, who knows, right? We have to punt the ball away, and the way they were moving the ball could have been troubles for us. And Colby won the game, and we ran a counter play with him, and sure enough, typical Colby, he busted it and got us that first down. And you're right. It kind of felt like once we got that first down, it did sort of take the wind out of Nokomis' sails a little bit as they had us pinned deep, and now move the chains, and we have 4 more downs and take some more time off the clock. So that was a huge play in the game.
I'm replaying the game in my head here, and Andrew Phelps busted loose a 50-yard touchdown run. It looked like he had been tackled about 4 or 5 times, and then all of a sudden popped out and went for that huge run.
Yeah, that was an interesting play. We called a play where he keeps the ball off tackle, or he can go outside with the ball off the end, and there really wasn't much there. They were low in the box at that point defensively, and that was pretty much all Andrew. He made a few shifty moves, and he did end up running over one of their guys. As the guys like to call it, he trucked them. And he did. He put his head down and he ran the guy over, and then next thing you know, he's headed to the end zone. So that was huge. I mean, that after that first down we'd gotten with Colby, and then eventually Andrew with that long run, and that did sort of seal the deal. But that was a huge play in the game. I mean, you look at the game itself, and what was the biggest play? I'd have to say you're right. Probably those 2 plays come down as the 2 biggest plays of the game, because it did sort of put the game away. But that was an amazing run by Andrew, and like we've been saying this season, we said it all along that the biggest difference with him this year is that confidence of pulling that ball down and running, and he did a nice job doing that Friday night.
There were, for the first time, well, outside of the Winslow game, I mean, there were some sustained drives. I mean, there were some 8-9 play drives, and that's important as you go into that playoff mentality to remember, hey, listen, this is our bread and butter, the ground and pound. And, you always love when Colby breaks loose a 50-yarder, but, I mean, that's how you win championships, is control the clock, eat the time, and move the chains.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you're right. I mean, we've had some big runs this year with our backs, because they do have breakaway speed. But ultimately, deep in the playoffs, you're right. You're going to need those long, sustained drives, because you're going to just face some real quality defenses that won't allow you to have, those long plays. And, I think about that game against Nokomis, and one of the biggest drives, which, you wouldn't really think is a big drive, was that first drive for us in the second half. So we kick off them and we stop them. We get the ball back. Even though we didn't score, I think we must have taken 6 or 7 minutes off the clock at that point. And when you're ahead, playing keep away from your opponent, who can score quickly, is huge. And, we unfortunately fumbled the ball on that drive, but that drive alone, even without scoring, was a huge drive because, you're right, it took that time off the clock.
Well, by the time that Nokomis had scored in their second possession of the second half, we were into the fourth quarter. It was 11:55, and remaining, and you guys were up by 16, 30-14.
Yeah, right. So, you look at us historically and some of the games that we've won, some of the big games we've won, and sometimes our best defense is our offense, keeping the ball away from our opponent, because it really does. It frustrates the opponent, and it's harder to play defense for an extended period of time compared to playing offense for an extended period of time. It's kind of demoralizing because you're like, we can't stop this team, and then you get first down after first down, and you just take your time in the huddle, calling the play, getting up to the line, all that stuff. It's been big for us over the years for sure.
What about the play of Croy Albee? In his second game back, 27 carries, I had him for 133 yards.
Yeah, he was amazing. It's funny, after the game, and I didn't realize he had carried the ball as much as he had. I knew he had a lot of carries, but then when I saw your stats that night, I was like, oh my gosh. But I saw him after the game, and he's sitting in the hallway, and he looks exhausted. And I went up to him, and I was like, buddy, that felt like old times, didn't it? Giving the ball to old 39, time and time again. And, I kept asking him as the game went along, especially in the fourth quarter, I'm like, are you feeling okay? And he's like, Coach, keep feeding me the ball. Keep feeding me the ball.
Yeah.
So, he looked like the old Croy of old, and he's going to get awarded the game ball this week. I think he definitely deserved it. He looked great, and I saw him today, and I asked him how he's feeling, like I always do, and he says, I feel great, Coach. So, it was a big night for him for sure.
A little bit of a scare for Colby Lee. He got submarine, but typical Colby, bounced back. But I saw him in the training room after the game, and he was getting iced down.
Yeah, he took a helmet off the knee. There was a defender for Nokomis that decided that he would tackle with his helmet all night and go for the knees of our running backs. And Colby, unfortunately, was a victim of that kid, number 7 for Nokomis, and I'll call him out because I just think that's an absolutely ridiculous way to tackle. So, he put his helmet right on Colby Lee's knee, and, Colby's a tough kid, and he went down, and, we got him over the sideline, and Dan Vibert, our trainer, did a nice job getting him back in the game, and, Colby, he's feeling better this week. I saw him on Saturday. He was limping a little bit, but, I saw him this morning, and he's starting to walk better, and, I think he'll be ready to go come Friday night.
So let's talk a little bit about the playoffs. So number 1 seed MDI will host John Bapst, who you have not played this year. Number 2, Winslow hosts Waterville. Number 3, Nokomis will have a rematch with their rivals in number number 6, MCI, and then it's number 4, Herman hosting number 5, Oceanside.
Yeah, so there's going to be some great football games this weekend for sure. You look at those matchups, and I wouldn't want to try to predict the winners of those games. For us, of course, all our focus will be John Bapst, and you look at John Bapst on tape, and they're a good football team, no doubt about it. I mean, they have some good-sized kids up front. They have some good athletes in the backfield. They have an excellent quarterback, number 14. We're really impressed with that kid. And, they like to run option. One of their best plays is running option, so he can either give the fullback, the quarterback keeps it, or the quarterback pitches it. So for us defensively, it's going to be a huge night to be a disciplined defense, because when a team runs option as well as they do, if you're not a disciplined football team, we're going to be disappointed by the end of the night, because if you don't take the guy that you're supposed to take, whatever responsibility you have, and you decide to try to do somebody else's job, and they get the ball to the guy that you're supposed to take, then they're going to rip up some huge yards. And you look at them and you say, well, they're 3-5, but you look at the games that they've lost, and they've all been tight. They went down to Oceanside, who's a really good football team, at Oceanside, and they played with them the whole game. And late in the game, Oceanside wore them down and punched in a couple late, but that was a close game right into the fourth quarter. They've also played with Nokomis. I thought they should have beat Nokomis at John Bapst. You look at that tape, and they were leading Nokomis, I think it was 8-7, late into the fourth, and then Nokomis hit a deep pass down the sideline and punched one in with like a minute to go, and ended up getting the win over John Bapst. So this team could easily be 4-4, 5-3, a much better team than they were last year. Hats off to Haggy Pratt and Dan O'Connell, the two head coaches up there. They've done a phenomenal job. Two classy guys and two excellent football coaches, and I have tremendous respect for both those guys and their staff. So big week for the Trojans. This isn't a week off by any means. It's going to be a tough football game.
The crowd on Friday night was just amazing. And I got a picture of T-Rex and the land shark that were in the stands, but I could hear the band over on the press box side. And when the student body started the boogaloo, I could hear it as if I were over on that right next to the students.
Yep. Yeah, once again, we had a great crowd. You're right, the band was loud, and it was a fun night. It's senior night, and it's a special night, and we wanted to play well for our seniors, and I thought we did, and we got the win. But our crowd has just been awesome, and our fans have been awesome. Our student section, those guys are loud, and yeah, I looked up there and I'm like, does that look like a dinosaur up there in the stands? Yeah, I mean, so these guys are really getting into it, and it's really a lot of fun. And like I said before, I do believe that we have, most teams have a home field advantage. I feel like we do have that for sure, and it's a tough place to come and play because of our crowd and our band, and those guys, they get excited over there, and when we have a big play, you can hear it. It gets loud over there, so. Really excited. Hopefully we can continue to get a great crowd. It looks like the weather's supposed to be good Friday night, so we need as many people to come out as they can because this is going to be a good ball game.
Well, so let's talk about the week weather-wise. I mean, Tuesday is supposed to rain. Wednesday is supposed to pour. And Thursday there'll be rain as well. What does that do to your practice schedule? And, obviously the kids are in shape and, they don't necessarily need to hit each other more, but at the same time, you don't want to go real light.
Right. Yeah, it's such a tricky thing because this time of year, every team, is dealing with those minor injuries and, how hard do you go? And we've never gone full contact in practice. I just don't believe in it. Our kids play hard on Friday nights and our JV guys play hard on Mondays. And, so I don't believe the system I grew up in at Skowhegan, we never believed in it. And most coaches don't, I think, in this day and age. But with that being said, you can't go half speed either. So, what we do is we call it thud. So, we'll go full speed until the contact is made, and then we just wrap up, and that's it, and the play is over. So, but the weather doesn't look fabulous. Of course, it'll be true for all teams this week. It looks like it's a statewide deal.
Yeah.
Tonight will be our typical weight room. We'll watch film, and then we do yoga every Monday and Thursday. So
which is new this year.
Yeah. Jackie Carroll, if everybody remembers Jimmy Carroll, played for us, graduated last year. His mom has been all season long. We've been doing yoga with Jackie, and I'm convinced it's helping us. The guys feel better. I did it a couple times, and I was like, oh my gosh. I thought yoga's supposed to be easy. It's not. So the boys are working pretty hard with that, and I think it's helping their flexibility and their endurance and their strength and all that stuff that goes along with it. So Tuesday, it looks like I think we can get out there. Tuesday, it's saying showery. Wednesday, you're right, is the day I'm most concerned about. I wonder that we might be able to get into the gym on Wednesday. And then Thursday, it would be nice if we can get up there because Thursday is really the big day as far as, we practice all our special teams throughout the week, but that day we go over all of them one more time, and
right.
It's just, obviously you can't do kickoff and punt when you're in the gym, so it'd be a lot better excuse me, if we can get out there and do that. So we'll monitor the weather and we'll be smart about it, but if we can be on the field, we will.
What do you want to say to the fans? Obviously, earning home field advantage, it comes with, just the ability to have that huge crowd, to have the band there, to have the fans there. And I believe that it really does make a difference.
Oh, I know it does. I'm convinced of it. We've seen it over the years, and, it is kind of a tough place to come and play football, and I know it's due to the fact that we have a great crowd, and, I just hope that we can get as many people out as possible. This is a big game, there's no tomorrow now, so it's like you can throw all the records out the window. They mean absolutely nothing at this point. If you don't get it done that night, you're done for the season, and this John Bapst team is going to come down here, and they're thinking, the same thing. They don't want their season to end either, and they're going to practice hard, and they're going to come down here and give us everything they have. So if people can come out and support us, it would be wonderful. It really would. So,
now,
Trojans.
Not looking ahead, but should MDI be lucky enough to host the Eastern Maine Regionals, Bunky announced during halftime that would now take place on Saturday, November 11th, rather than the 10th because of the opening of the play Into the Woods.
That's correct, yeah. So last year we hosted Winslow and that Friday night, and that was the first night of the fall play, and so, it was a tough night. I thought they did an excellent job working both programs, into the fold that night and dealing with, parking and what have you. So if we're fortunate enough to get that far, and of course you and I know there's a lot of football to be played, but if we can get there, the game would be Saturday night and not Friday night at 7 o'clock. Okay,
so we just want to remind people that if you are, looking at your calendar and marking off potential game days, it would be Saturday, November 11th, rather than Friday, November 10th.
Correct.
Okay. Coach, a big week, and we look back here, and you and I started looking at these schedules back in August, and we're sitting there going, this is really, really tough. To finish 7-1 is just a testament to the players and the coaching staff. It's been a fantastic season.
It really has. It's been a great regular season, and like you said, to go 7-1 with the quality opponents that we faced is, it's been a good year. And these kids, we came into the season, we were cautiously optimistic coming off the season we had. We lost some excellent football players to graduation last year, and we didn't know what kind of team we would be. We thought we could be a competitive team, and our guys have taken that stuff seriously. They've worked hard, and they come out and they play hard every night. So, I would expect the same on Friday night versus John Bapst.
All right, Coach. Have a good week. We'll talk to you on Friday.
All right, thanks, Chris.